Hello, beautiful people. Once more, reporting live from East Hollywood, California. Today's August 7th, 2025. It's a fucking beautiful day today. Really, really is. Homework's done, errands finished, haircut has been got. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. Wow. That was really freaking fast. Really, really, really fast. You guys are awesome. I love you guys so much. And even the haters, because you guys crack me up. You guys be saying some very outlandish stuff, man. But it's okay, because usually you guys jump in and have my back for me, so I don't even got to say anything. And it's usually just some keyboard warrior who probably has too much time on his hands. I don't know. Um, yeah. This has easily become one of my favorite parts of my day. And today I don't want to cover any actual topic. I kind of just want to tell a story. A few people have asked me for like a story about, when it was like bad. I don't know how to say it. When it was bad, things didn't seem as disgusting as they actually were. So today I want to talk about someone who I grew up with. Actually, we're gonna call him H, out of respect for him, wherever he is. H was always a hardworking man. Always drank, but he always drank the old school Latino way. Drink in the morning, drink for lunch, drink at night, but always had his own place, always had a car, always had his girl and his daughter. Never really bothered anybody. Just drank, but it wasn't like to the point where it was like disgusting. It was just okay, he just drinks, so it's his thing. Over the years, he started to drink more and more and more and more and more, and then you're like, he still seems like the same person, but this is where things got really, really bad. And I would hang out with this guy a lot. I've known him since I was like 7. And so yeah, me being 29, 22 years. He got into drugs, That's something I couldn't tell right away until I started to really, really pay attention to like his habits. Like he started losing jobs left and right. He would accuse people of stealing from him when the things that he was like, things that were quote unquote missing, were right in front of him the entire time. He would pocket check people, say, "Hey, why are you stealing my drugs and my money?" I'm like, dude, what are you talking about, man? I don't even do that kind of stuff. And it'd always be in his pocket or in one of his secret stashes. And it just got progressively worse. And he started doing it in front of me. And even then I was like, hey, who am I to judge? I'm an addict myself, an alcoholic. I've definitely dabbled in other things before as well, right? Bartender life. But got to a point where that's all he ever cared about. The people we started hanging out with, he would introduce me to, were people who were just as bad. They were charismatic. They had jobs and stuff. So it kind of like seemed like, okay, it can't be that bad. But that's just like another lie we tell ourselves. Especially now that I'm like, I think of 10 days away from being 6 months sober. Yeah, 6 months. I've never gone 6 months sober in my life. I don't think I've ever gone more than 30 days sober since I was 14. So age got really, really weird. He lost his apartment. His family started to disown him. And his car was always a disaster. We're talking like just gross. There's always like beer cans everywhere. And I'm like, dude, are you going to do something about it? He's like, no, I'm going to go sell it later. Sell it later. I was like, okay, whatever, man. It's $20 is $20, right? You got to do what you got to do. But it wasn't because of the money. He was just lazy. And eventually it gets so full that he'd have no choice but to go sell it to buy more drugs. I'm not gonna say what kind of drug it is, but it's the really strong man-made kind, if you guys know what I'm saying. And then we both started to mess up our lives little by little together. And at some point, all we had was each other. And then the shitty friends that we gained in the process. Losers. We all stink. All of our teeth were like neon yellow. We were all drinking cheap liquor. And I was like, you know, if I can't beat them, join them. I started doing the things with them. And then it started to get to me too. I started to become out of my mind too. Started being paranoid, looking out my window, losing weight. And you think people can't notice, but they definitely can notice. And then I knew it was like, my breaking point was when I was laying down and I could not sleep. Massive anxiety attack, withdrawals. I started seeing things that I knew weren't there, but they were still scary nonetheless. Black snake-like figures, demon-looking things that you know they're just a trick of the mind, but you can't help but be kind of scared. And then one time I couldn't sleep at all because the conversation I was having on the phone was way too loud. And so I opened my eyes and I reached for my phone, and the phone is off. But I could hear the other person on the line. The person was like, hello, are you still there? And my phone is completely off. And I'm like, you're just hallucinating, dude. You're just hallucinating. And I brought this up to them, and they were all like, just stop being a wuss, like stuff like that. Like, don't change on us. It's like, guys, no, we can't keep living our lives like this. And so I stopped hanging out with them. And then I slowly but surely stopped hearing from them. They don't like people who want to become sober. They don't like people who want to change their lives. And the last I heard of H, according to his daughter, who messaged me on Instagram, said, hey, do you still talk to my dad? I was like, no, not really. Why? I had to cut him off. I want to change my life. He's like, well, he's completely lost it. He doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know what he's saying. And last time I saw him, he was dumpster diving looking for cans because he had officially run out of money. She said that his car was full of his like water gallons of his own urine. It got to the point where he just became okay with urinating inside of his car and borderline collecting it. Stopped showering, stopped looking for work. All he had left was his car and this one particular drug that he would never ever leave for anyone. And it sucks. I really did care about him. I still do. I hope he's doing okay wherever he's at. I have another friend right now. We'll call him D. Saw him yesterday, high out of his marbles on a legal drug called nitrous oxide. Didn't even know it was me he was talking to. I asked him, I was like, hey man, how many of those tanks have you huffed today? I don't know if you guys know what that is, Nas. It's a thing you could buy from cigarette shops now. And he's like, this is my fourth one. I was like, dude, those are like 20, 30 bucks each. And you're drinking too, like, and you're sitting by yourself on the sidewalk looking for someone to talk to on the phone. You had called me multiple times. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I can't keep picking up the phone because you're just talking nonsense and you're complaining about being lonely. But in reality, nobody wants to hang out with you when you're acting like that. And another person, D is another person I went to high school with, and he just refuses to accept the fact that he's addicted to this drug and addicted to alcohol. He keeps getting fired left and right. He's losing his friends, and pretty soon I don't think his daughter's gonna want anything to do with him either. And lastly, someone very, very close to me, a family member. People who know me in real life know who I'm talking about. Never learns. Rehab to rehab to rehab, to homeless shelter, to sober living, to that insane asylum, to now on the streets, and I don't know where he is. Which just goes to show, some of us never get to the point where we're ready to change. Some of us make it, some of us don't. And I'm beyond thankful that I'm one of the people that made it. And I never want to go back. I've always been a smart guy, and I buried that smart guy underneath all these horrible poisons. And they no longer have control over me. And I am beyond thankful for that. Beyond thankful for where I live. I'm in the back of my apartment right now. My dog is right here annoying me, Cookie. My mother, my father, my school, the fact that I'm in school again. I don't know. I never thought I'd make it this far. And I'm thankful for you guys. Believe it or not, I really am. Thank you for listening.